Imagine a world where your very year of birth inscribes upon you a unique destiny, a predefined personality, a cosmic blueprint for your life's journey. Across a civilization spanning millennia, this is not just imagination, but a profound truth woven into the fabric of everyday existence. This is the story of the Chinese Zodiac, an ancient and intricate system whose 12 animal symbols are instantly recognizable worldwide, yet whose true origins lie far deeper than popular myth, rooted in the very dawn of Chinese civilization itself. Many have heard the enchanting tale of the Great Race, a celestial competition orchestrated by the Jade Emperor, where 12 animals vied for their place in the zodiacal cycle, their final order dictating their eternal sequence. It is a story of wit, perseverance, and even betrayal, a charming allegory passed down through generations. But while this foundational myth captures the popular imagination, the historical genesis of the Chinese zodiac is far more complex, a testament to humanity's enduring quest to understand time, the cosmos, and our place within them. To truly grasp the zodiac's essence, we must journey back, not to mythical races, but to the earliest documented records of ancient China, to an era defined by agricultural cycles and an urgent need to chart the heavens. Long before the concept of animal attributes, the foundations of this system were being laid through sophisticated astronomical observation and calendrical calculation. From the Shang dynasty, around 1600 BCE, we find evidence of divinatory practices using oracle bones, inscribed with early forms of Chinese characters. These fragments offer glimpses into a society deeply preoccupied with the timing of events, with agricultural prosperity, and with the favor of celestial powers. The intellectual bedrock of what would become the Chinese zodiac lies in an ingenious dual system, the 10 heavenly stems and the 12 earthly branches. These were not arbitrary symbols, but fundamental temporal markers, combining in a 60-year cycle known as the Jiazi. The heavenly stems, derived perhaps from early counting systems, represented a cycle of 10, often associated with directional or elemental principles. The earthly branches, a cycle of 12, almost certainly mirrored the 12-month lunar year, possibly also influenced by the 12 major positions of Jupiter in its approximate 12-year orbit around the Sun, a celestial clock visible to the naked eye, guiding ancient astrologers. It is within this framework of the earthly branches that the animal symbols would eventually find their home. Initially, these branches were simply abstract markers of time, used for dating years, months, days, and even hours. Each of the 12 earthly branches corresponded to a specific segment of the day, a particular month, and eventually, a recurring year. But the abstract nature of these branches, while practical for scholars, posed a challenge for broader cultural integration. How could these complex calendrical notations resonate with the common person, making the intricate dance of time accessible and memorable? This is where the animals entered the narrative, not in a single dramatic race, but gradually through a process of cultural adoption and evolution, likely influenced by various factors over centuries. Scholars believe the association of specific animals with the earthly branches began to solidify during the Han Dynasty, a period of immense cultural synthesis and consolidation, roughly from 206 BCE to 220 CE. This was an era of unprecedented intellectual development, where philosophical schools blossomed and elaborate cosmological systems were refined. The Han saw the flourishing of astrological practices, almanac creation, and the widespread application of the sexagenary cycle for divination and fortune-telling. During the Han, The 12 earthly branches, which already governed time, began to be systematically paired with animals familiar to the lives of common people. The rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. This wasn't an arbitrary selection. These animals held deep symbolic meanings within Chinese culture, often reflecting virtues, characteristics, or roles in daily life. For instance, the ox represented diligence and strength, crucial for agriculture; the pig, prosperity and contentment; the rat, cunning and resourcefulness. This symbolic fusion transformed an abstract calendrical system into a vibrant, relatable guide to understanding the flow of time and the qualities associated with it. The adoption of these animal symbols was a masterstroke of cultural communication. It transformed the remote, scholarly pursuit of calendrical astronomy into a popular system accessible to all. Suddenly, everyone could connect with their birth year through a familiar animal, understanding its supposed influence on their personality and fate. This system provided a framework for personal identity, social interaction, and even strategic decision-making, from choosing a marriage partner to planning a business venture. The zodiac became a lens through which individuals interpreted their lives, their relationships, and their place in the grand cosmic order. The elegance of the Chinese zodiac lies in its multifaceted utility. It served as a practical calendar for agricultural planning, a sophisticated tool for astrological divination, and a deeply embedded cultural shorthand for understanding human nature. Consider the implications of such a system. Every interaction, every birth, every significant event could be understood through the prism of these 12 animals and their intricate interplay. It offered not just predictions, but a profound sense of connection to a larger, recurring cycle, a comfort in the predictability of time, even amidst life's uncertainties. It cemented a worldview where the individual was inextricably linked to the cosmos, where personal destiny was a reflection of universal rhythms. The brilliance of the sexagenary cycle, the Jiazi, truly emerges when we understand its dual nature. The heavenly stems, representing 5 elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, water in their yin and yang aspects, combine with the 12 earthly branches, each associated with an animal. So, a specific year is not just the year of the dragon, but perhaps the wood dragon or the fire dragon. This creates a rich tapestry of 60 unique combinations, ensuring that any given animal's Ein with a particular elemental attribute only recurs once every 60 years. This level of detail offers a depth of interpretation far beyond a simple 12-year cycle, allowing for nuanced readings of personality and fortune, factoring in both the animal's inherent traits and the modifying influence of its elemental energy. From its humble beginnings as an abstract method for charting time, rooted in the meticulous observations of ancient Chinese astronomers, the Chinese zodiac evolved into a pervasive cultural phenomenon. It transformed from complex scientific principle into relatable animal symbolism, intertwining fate with the rhythms of the cosmos. Its journey through dynasties, its absorption into popular belief, and its profound impact on personal identity are testaments to its enduring power. But how did this intricate system, refined over millennia, truly become the deeply personal destiny guide we recognize today? And what secrets does its continued influence reveal about our innate human desire to understand ourselves and our place in the universe? The answers to these questions lie in the further spread of its influence, and the subtle ways it has been reinterpreted and embraced across vast swaths of human history, shaping not just individuals but entire cultures. This ancient wisdom, born of celestial observation, has journeyed far beyond its origins, echoing through centuries and continuing to resonate in the modern world. Having traced the foundational elements of the Chinese zodiac back to the celestial observations of the Shang and the calendrical innovations of the Han, we now arrive at a critical juncture. How did these abstract principles transform into the intimate, deeply personal guide for destiny that resonates so profoundly with millions? The true genius of the Han dynasty's integration of animal symbols with the 12 earthly branches was not merely simplification, but profound popularization. It bridged the chasm between elite scholarly pursuits and the everyday lives of the common people, turning a complex temporal map into a relatable, mnemonic key for understanding time, personality, and fate. This wasn't a sudden edict, but a gradual, organic process of cultural absorption, where the practical utility of the system intertwined with burgeoning philosophical thought and folk traditions. During this period, and in the dynasties that followed, particularly the Jin, Northern and Southern dynasties, 220 to 589 CE, the zodiac's influence permeated society at every level. It became more than just a calendar, it became a language. Scholars and diviners began to systematically elaborate on the supposed characteristics of each animal, drawing upon existing cultural symbolism. The dragon, already a potent symbol of imperial power and good fortune, naturally conferred ambition and nobility. The snake, often associated with wisdom and mystery, imparted intuition and a discerning nature. The diligent ox, the cunning rat, the brave tiger, each animal was imbued with a rich tapestry of traits that people could immediately recognize and internalize. This process wasn't arbitrary. It reflected a society deeply interconnected with the natural world and steeped in symbolic thinking. The animals chosen were those intimately familiar to daily life, either as domestic companions, agricultural necessities, or wild creatures of myth and awe. Their observable behaviors and perceived attributes were projected onto the human psyche, creating a powerful, accessible framework for self-understanding and social interaction. Consider the implications for social cohesion. With the zodiac, individuals were provided with a shared lexicon for discussing temperament, compatibility, and even future prospects. A parent could understand a child's fiery disposition through the lens of their tiger sign, or a prospective spouse could consider the harmony of their goat year with their partner's rabbit year. This system became a ubiquitous social currency, influencing everything from naming conventions to marriage arrangements, from career choices to auspicious dates for major undertakings. The underlying philosophical framework of the Chinese zodiac, particularly its connection to the 5 elements, wood, fire, earth, metal, water, and the complementary forces of yin and yang, further deepened its interpretive power. Each of the 12 animals is inherently associated with a particular element and polarity, but the year itself also carries an elemental energy. So, a person born in a wood dragon year would possess different nuances than a fire dragon or water dragon. This intricate interplay of animal, element, and yin-yang creates the 60 unique combinations of the sexagenary cycle, ensuring that an individual's birth year is uniquely defined within a 60-year span. This complexity allows for an unparalleled depth of astrological insight, moving far beyond simplistic 12-year cycles into a nuanced understanding of cosmic forces shaping individual destiny. This period also saw the formalization of yearly predictions, a practice that continues to thrive today. The concept of fan tai sui, or offending the Grand Duke Jupiter, became prominent. Jupiter, or tai sui, as it is known in Chinese astrology, cycles through the 12 earthly branches over approximately 12 years. Those whose animal sign clashed with the current year's tai sui were believed to face particular challenges or misfortunes, necessitating special rituals or precautions. This belief imbued the zodiac with a practical, preventative dimension, guiding personal conduct and offering a sense of agency in navigating life's uncertainties. Beyond China's heartland, the influence of the Chinese zodiac began its outward journey, demonstrating its universal appeal and adaptability. As Chinese culture spread along trade routes and through diplomatic exchanges, the zodiac traveled with it. Historical records and cultural artifacts show its adoption and adaptation across East Asia. In Korea, Japan, Vietnam, Thailand, and even extending into parts of Central Asia and Tibet. While the core 12-animal cycle remained remarkably consistent, some cultures introduced subtle variations, such as the replacement of the rabbit with the cat in Vietnam, or minor adjustments to the sequence or attributes in Odd. Her regions. This widespread acceptance underscored the system's effectiveness as both a calendrical tool and a framework for understanding human nature, proving its portability across diverse linguistic and cultural landscapes. It was a testament to its intrinsic value that it could be so readily integrated into vastly different belief systems, often coexisting with indigenous astrological or calendrical practices. The Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 CE, often considered a golden age of Chinese civilization, witnessed the zodiac's full blossoming into a pervasive cultural phenomenon. During this era of unprecedented prosperity, cultural exchange, and intellectual flourishing, the animal signs became a common motif in art, literature, and everyday discourse. It was during the Tang that many of the popular stories and allegories associated with the zodiac, including embellished versions of the great race myth, began to take on their familiar forms, further cementing their place in the collective consciousness. These narratives, often charming and didactic, serve to make the complex system even more accessible and memorable for the populace. The elegance and coherence of the zodiacal system offered a powerful antidote to the unpredictable nature of existence. In a world without modern science or pervasive public education, it provided a comforting narrative of order, predictability, and interconnectedness. It affirmed that individuals were not merely adrift in a chaotic universe, but were intrinsically linked to grand cosmic cycles, their lives echoing the rhythm of the heavens. This profound sense of belonging, coupled with a practical guide for navigating personal and social challenges, solidified the zodiac's enduring grip on the Chinese psyche. It became a lens through which identity was forged, relationships were understood, and the passage of time was marked with personal significance. But as the zodiac embedded itself deeper into the cultural fabric, influencing everything from imperial decree to personal fortunes, did its practical, astronomical roots remain revered, or did it evolve into something else entirely, a realm of pure superstition, or perhaps something even more profound? And how did this ancient framework continue to adapt and thrive through successive dynastic changes and into the modern era, retaining its power in the face of scientific advancement? The question lingers. As the zodiac deepened its cultural roots, did its astronomical origins fade into mere superstition, or did it evolve into something more profound, a bedrock of identity resilient enough to withstand the currents of scientific advancement and societal change? As we move beyond the Tang's golden age, through the Song, Yuan, Ming, and Qing dynasties, we witness the Chinese zodiac's journey through profound philosophical shifts, technological innovations, and the initial encounter with a globalizing world. During the Song dynasty, spanning from 960 to 1279 CE, China experienced an intellectual renaissance with the rise of Neo-Confucianism. This dominant philosophical school, emphasizing rationalism, ethics, and moral self-cultivation, might seem at odds with a system rooted in animal symbolism and astrological prediction. Yet, rather than diminishing the zodiac's influence, Neo-Confucian thought often provided a sophisticated framework for its interpretation. Scholars began to delve deeper into the ethical dimensions of each animal sign, viewing them not just as indicators of destiny, but as reflections of inherent potential for virtue or vice. The rat's cunning could be seen as either deceitful or resourcefully intelligent, depending on cultivation. The tiger's bravery could become reckless aggression or righteous courage. This transformation elevated the zodiac from a purely predictive tool to a guide for moral and personal development, subtly integrating it into the fabric of daily ethical discourse. Furthermore, the Song era heralded monumental advancements in printing technology. Woodblock printing, perfected during this period, allowed for the mass production of books, almanacs, and detailed guides. Suddenly, the intricate knowledge of the sexagenary cycle, the animal signs, and their associated elemental and yin-yang attributes became accessible to a far broader segment of society. No longer confined to the elite scholarly class, these texts permeated villages and towns, fostering a widespread understanding and personal connection to the zodiac. Families consulted these readily available almanacs for auspicious dates for weddings, business ventures, or even haircuts, making the zodiac an indispensable part of everyday life. This popularization solidified its role as a common language for discussing personality, compatibility, and fortune, reinforcing social cohesion through shared cultural understanding. The subsequent Yuan dynasty, 1271 to 1368 CE, established by the Mongol conquerors, presented a unique test of the zodiac's cultural resilience. The Mongol Empire, vast and multicultural, brought its own traditions and astrological systems. Intriguingly, many nomadic cultures of Central Asia, including the Mongols, already possessed a 12-animal cycle for marking years, strikingly similar to the Chinese system. This existing resonance meant that, rather than being suppressed, the Chinese zodiac was largely embraced and often reinforced during the Yuan period. It became a bridge between cultures, a shared temporal framework that transcended ethnic divisions. The exchange of astronomical knowledge along the revitalized Silk Road further enriched the understanding of celestial mechanics, though the fundamental structure and popular appeal of the Chinese zodiac remained robust, demonstrating its adaptability across diverse imperial rules. Following the Mongol withdrawal, the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644 CE, witnessed a fervent reassertion of Han Chinese culture. The zodiac, a cornerstone of traditional identity, flourished with renewed vigor. The imperial court and scholarly class engaged in extensive compilation and standardization of astrological texts, ensuring the continued authority and coherence of the system. Government-issued almanacs, based on traditional calendrical calculations that included zodiacal information, became official documents, linking state authority with cosmic order. This period also marked a significant expansion of China's global reach, notably through Admiral Zheng He's maritime expeditions. While the zodiac didn't journey directly on these voyages, the Ming era set the stage for its eventual spread beyond Asia. Within China, the animal signs became ubiquitous in literature, art, and drama, enriching popular narratives and cementing their place in the collective consciousness. The character traits associated with each animal were continuously elaborated upon, offering an increasingly nuanced and psychologically insightful understanding of human nature. By the time the Qing dynasty, (1644 to 1912 CE), ascended to power, another non-Han ruling house. The Chinese zodiac had become so deeply embedded in the cultural psyche that its continued prominence was unquestioned. Its adoption by the Manchu rulers further underscored its universal appeal within the Chinese cultural sphere. However, the Qing era introduced a new and formidable challenge: the arrival of Western science, particularly advanced astronomy, brought by Jesuit missionaries. These missionaries, eager to gain imperial favor, showcased European scientific instruments and calendrical precision, often highlighting perceived discrepancies with traditional Chinese astronomical methods. For some Chinese scholars and officials, this presented an intellectual crisis. Yet for the vast majority of the populace, and even many scholars, the zodiac held a different kind of truth. It wasn't a scientific hypothesis to be proven or disproven by telescopes and mathematical models. It was a profound system of meaning, a cultural framework for understanding one's place in the cosmos and navigating social interactions. The zodiac functioned on a level of cultural and personal significance that scientific inquiry, at least initially, could not dismantle. It provided a worldview where individual destiny was interwoven with cosmic rhythms, a comfortingly predictable order in an often unpredictable world. This distinction allowed the zodiac to persist, viewed as a complement to, rather than a competitor with, Western scientific understanding. Moreover, the Qing dynasty saw the significant growth of the Chinese diaspora. As people migrated to Southeast Asia, the Americas, and beyond, they carried their cultural traditions with them. The Chinese zodiac, with its 12 familiar animal symbols, became a powerful cultural touchstone, a means of maintaining identity and connection to their heritage in new lands. It provided a shared narrative and a framework for community, linking them to an ancient wisdom that transcended geographical boundaries. As China entered the tumultuous 20th century, facing the collapse of the Qing Empire and the establishment of the Republican era, attempts were made to modernize the nation and shed what some reformers viewed as superstitious traditions. The Gregorian calendar was officially adopted, yet the lunar solar calendar, with its embedded zodiacal cycle, continued to thrive in parallel, especially for agricultural timing, traditional festivals, and, crucially, for personal astrology and fortune-telling. The zodiac proved remarkably resilient, a bedrock of identity and guidance so deeply ingrained in everyday life that it defied political decrees and intellectual critiques. It wasn't merely a system of beliefs. It was a way of living, a lens through which generations had understood themselves, their relationships, and the grand tapestry of time. The zodiac's journey from abstract calendrical markers to deeply personalized destiny guides, enduring imperial shifts, philosophical debates, and the first waves of Western scientific influence, speaks volumes about its intrinsic value. It wasn't just a system. It was a living tradition, a testament to humanity's desire for meaning and order in a complex world. But the greatest tests for its endurance were yet to come, as China faced unprecedented upheaval in the 20th century, and the zodiac prepared to take its place on the global stage, becoming a worldwide phenomenon against all odds. The 20th century for China was an era of seismic shifts, a period when the very foundations of its ancient civilization were challenged by revolution, war, and the relentless march of modernity. How, amidst such turmoil, did an ancient system like the Chinese zodiac not merely survive, but paradoxically flourish and begin its ascent onto the global stage? This is a story of profound cultural resilience, of a tradition so deeply woven into the fabric of identity that it defied every attempt at eradication. Consider the early decades of the 20th century, Following the collapse of the Qing Empire in 1912, the newly established Republic of China embarked on an ambitious program of modernization, often equating traditional practices with backwardness and superstition. The Gregorian calendar was officially adopted, replacing the traditional lunar solar calendar for administrative purposes. Intellectual movements like the May 4th movement in 1919 championed science, democracy, and a rejection of what was perceived as China's feudal past. Astrology, geomancy, and other folk beliefs, including the Zodiac, came under official scrutiny and at times direct suppression. Yet these reforms, while impactful in urban centers and among the educated elite, often struggled to penetrate the vast rural heartland, where agricultural cycles and deeply ingrained social customs continued to dictate life's rhythms. The traditional calendar, with its zodiacal markers, remained crucial for farming, festival planning, and perhaps most importantly, for personal and family life. It offered a familiar language, a comforting framework of predictability in an increasingly unpredictable world marked by warlordism, civil strife, and foreign aggression. The true crucible for the Chinese zodiac, however, arrived with the Communist Revolution and the establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949. The new government, driven by Marxist ideology, viewed traditional beliefs as feudal superstitions and opium for the masses, actively seeking to dismantle them in favor of a scientific, materialist worldview. Astrological practices, including the zodiac, were condemned as instruments of oppression and irrationality. This was not merely discouragement. It was often outright prohibition, accompanied by campaigns to smash the four olds during the Cultural Revolution from 1966 to 1976. Temples were destroyed, ancient texts burned, and those who practiced traditional arts or beliefs faced severe persecution. One might expect such an ancient system, already under siege, to finally collapse under this relentless ideological assault. Yet it did not. The zodiac, rather than disappearing, retreated underground. Families continued to observe it in private, whispering about birth years and animal signs, particularly when naming children, choosing partners, or making significant life decisions. It became a quiet act of cultural defiance, a secret language shared between generations, a thread of continuity in a society striving to sever ties with its past. The very act of recalling one's animal sign, or that of a loved one, became a powerful, albeit subtle, affirmation of identity and heritage. It was a testament to the zodiac's profound embedment in the psyche that it could withstand such intense, systematic pressure. Its function as a shorthand for personality, a guide for human relationships, and a marker of time proved too vital to simply be discarded. As China emerged from the Cultural Revolution in the late 1970s and embarked on its era of reform and opening up, a remarkable cultural resurgence began. With the loosening of ideological controls, traditional practices that had been suppressed for decades started to re-emerge, initially cautiously, then with growing confidence. The Chinese zodiac was among the most prominent of these re-emerging traditions. Its return was not merely a nostalgic revival. It was fueled by a population eager to reconnect with its cultural roots and find meaning in a rapidly changing society. The economic reforms of the 1980s and 1990s accelerated this process. As personal freedoms expanded and consumer culture blossomed, the zodiac found new avenues for expression and popularization. It appeared in calendars, everyday products, and eventually in commercial advertising, transforming from a semi-clandestine practice into a ubiquitous cultural symbol embraced by millions. Simultaneously, the Chinese diaspora, which had carried the zodiac to communities across the globe for centuries, played a crucial role in its international popularization. In Chinatowns from San Francisco to Sydney, the zodiac remained a vibrant part of cultural identity, celebrated during Lunar New Year and influencing family life. As global interest in Eastern philosophies and cultures grew throughout the latter half of the 20th century, the Chinese zodiac began to capture the imagination of non-Chinese audiences. It offered a seemingly exotic, yet remarkably accessible, framework for self-understanding and personality assessment, distinct from Western astrological systems. The process of global popularization, however, often involved a simplification of the zodiac's deeper philosophical underpinnings. While traditional Chinese astrology meticulously combines the animal signs with the 5 elements and yin-yang polarities, creating the rich sexagenary cycle, popular Western interpretations often focus solely on the 12 animal signs. This simplification made the system easier to grasp and disseminate, but it also stripped away some of its profound complexity and nuance. Nevertheless, this simplified version proved incredibly potent. It became a common cultural shorthand, appearing in horoscopes, greeting cards, and even children's books, transforming the ancient system into a widely recognized, almost universally understood symbol of personal identity. By the dawn of the 21st century, the Chinese zodiac had not only weathered the storms of revolutionary change and ideological suppression within China, but had also firmly established itself as a global phenomenon. It was no longer confined to its ancient origins or to Chinese communities. It had transcended cultural boundaries, embraced by people of all backgrounds seeking insight into personality, compatibility, and the cycles of time. Its journey from complex astronomical calculations to accessible animal symbolism, through eras of imperial grandeur, intellectual renaissance, and severe political repression, culminated in its surprising rebirth as an international icon. This incredible odyssey raises new questions about its modern relevance. In an increasingly interconnected and scientifically advanced world, what accounts for its enduring appeal? How does it continue to shape individual lives and cultural expressions in the digital age? And what does its global prevalence tell us about our innate human desire to connect with something larger than ourselves? In an increasingly interconnected and scientifically advanced world, what accounts for the Chinese zodiac's enduring appeal? How does it continue to shape individual lives and cultural expressions in the digital age? And what does its global prevalence tell us about our innate human desire to connect with something larger than ourselves? The 20th century, a period of unprecedented upheaval for China, ironically set the stage for the zodiac's most remarkable transformation: its ascent as a global cultural icon. After decades of official suppression during the communist era, particularly through the Cultural Revolution, the zodiac emerged from the shadows not as a relic of a bygone age, but as a vibrant, resilient force. The loosening of ideological controls in the late 1970s and 1980s, heralded by the policy of reform and opening up, allowed traditional practices to cautiously resurface. The Chinese zodiac, deeply woven into the fabric of everyday life, was among the first to reclaim its public space. It was more than a mere resurgence. It was a cultural embrace by a populace eager to reconnect with its heritage, finding comfort and identity in its ancient wisdom amidst rapid modernization. This reemergence was not without its ironies. The very government that once condemned it as feudal superstition now found it to be a powerful, benign cultural ambassador. Calendars featuring the animal signs once again adorned homes and businesses. New Year festivities, suppressed for decades, returned with unprecedented fervor, their symbolism inextricably linked to the zodiacal animal of the incoming year. From stay-issued postage stamps to celebratory coins, the zodiac became a mainstream symbol of national identity and cultural pride, a far cry from its clandestine existence just years prior. This domestic resurgence was mirrored and amplified by its growing international presence. For centuries, Chinese diaspora communities had faithfully preserved the zodiac, celebrating Lunar New Year and passing down its interpretations in Chinatowns and cultural enclaves across the globe. As global communication improved and interest in Eastern cultures burgeoned, the zodiac became an accessible entry point into Chinese traditions for non-Chinese audiences. Its appeal lay in its apparent simplicity: 12 distinct animal personalities, each associated with a birth year. This simplification, however, was a double-edged sword. While it dramatically broadened its global reach, it often presented a distilled, sometimes superficial version of a system that was, at its core, profoundly complex. Western popular culture, hungry for exotic wisdom, readily adopted the 12-animal cycle, often divorcing it from the intricate interplay of the 5 elements, yin and yang polarities, and the overarching sexagenary cycle that defined traditional Chinese astrology. The nuanced readings, the subtle influences of wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, and the profound depth of the 60-year cycle were largely omitted in favor of easily digestible horoscopes found in magazines, online quizzes, and novelty merchandise. This popularization, while sacrificing some authenticity, made the Chinese zodiac a truly universal cultural shorthand. From breakfast cereal boxes to luxury brand collaborations, from animated films to popular song lyrics, the zodiac animals became instantly recognizable icons worldwide. It offered a relatable framework for self-identity and social comparison, appealing to a fundamental human desire to categorize, understand, and connect. For many, it provided a playful lens through which to view personality traits, compatibility with others, and even to interpret life's ups and downs, without necessarily subscribing to its deeper astrological tenets. The commercialization of the Chinese zodiac, especially in the last few decades, stands as a testament to its enduring power and widespread appeal. Every Lunar New Year sees a deluge of zodiac-themed products, jewelry, clothing, confectionery, and even limited edition automobiles. Banks issue commemorative coins and banknotes bearing the animal of the year. Fashion houses incorporate zodiac motifs into their collections. This economic phenomenon is particularly pronounced during dragon years, which are traditionally considered auspicious. The Year of the Dragon often sees a surge in birth rates in Chinese communities globally, as parents hope to bestow their children with the esteemed characteristics of this powerful mythical creature. This tangible impact on demographics underscores that, for many, the zodiac is far from a mere cultural curiosity. It influences significant life decisions, reflecting a deep-seated belief in its capacity to shape destiny and fortune. The dragon, representing power, nobility, and good luck, exemplifies how potent these animal symbols remain in shaping aspirations and influencing behavior in the modern world. The ox, symbolizing diligence and strength, similarly inspires hard work and perseverance, reflecting a cultural valuing of these traits. Even the rat, often associated with cleverness and resourcefulness, encourages strategic thinking and adaptability. The digital age has proven not to be a threat to the Chinese zodiac, but rather an unprecedented amplifier of its reach. The internet and social media platforms have provided new avenues for its dissemination and reinterpretation. Online horoscopes, Compatibility calculators and personality quizzes based on the Zodiac are ubiquitous. Apps offer daily forecasts and detailed astrological readings. Memes and viral content playfully integrate zodiac animal traits, making the ancient system relevant and engaging for younger generations. This digital presence has further democratized access, allowing individuals worldwide to explore the system at their leisure, contributing to its global permeation. Moreover, the ease of access to information, both simplified and scholarly, means that those interested in delving beyond the popularized 12-animal format can readily find resources on the 5 elements, yin-yang, and the sexagenary cycle, thereby bridging the gap between simplified popular understanding and deeper traditional knowledge. This digital evolution ensures that the zodiac remains dynamic, adapting to new media and continuing to capture imaginations. Yet, beyond the commercial appeal and digital proliferation, the enduring power of the Chinese zodiac lies in its capacity to fulfill a deeply human need for narrative and meaning. In a world that can often feel chaotic and random, the zodiac provides a comforting sense of order and connection. It offers a framework for understanding oneself and others, a shared language for discussing strengths, weaknesses, and potential challenges. Psychologically, it taps into the power of archetypes, presenting recognizable personality traits through memorable animal symbols. This serves as a lens for self-reflection and a starting point for dialogue, allowing individuals to relate their experiences to a broader, cyclical pattern. It's not just about prediction. It's about providing a story for one's life, a sense of belonging to a cosmic rhythm that transcends individual existence. This narrative power is particularly potent in navigating life's uncertainties, offering a sense of guidance and an intuitive path for self-improvement. The appeal is universal. We all seek to understand our place in the world, to find meaning in our experiences, and to forge connections with others. The zodiac, with its blend of ancient wisdom and accessible symbolism, offers precisely that. The tension between maintaining the authenticity of its profound historical and astrological depth and its undeniable transformation into a globally recognized, often simplified, cultural icon presents an ongoing challenge. While the commercial aspects and mass popularization have brought the zodiac to billions, they have also sometimes overshadowed its intricate philosophical foundations. However, the fundamental strength of the system, its elegant structure, its relatable symbolism, and its capacity to connect individuals to the vast cycles of time, continues to ensure its relevance. From its origins in ancient celestial observations, through dynastic shifts and ideological purges, to its embrace in the digital age, the Chinese zodiac has proven to be an extraordinary testament to cultural resilience and adaptability. It has transcended mere superstition, evolving into a living tradition that bridges the gap between the earthly and the cosmic, the individual and the collective. Its journey is far from over. As global cultures continue to intertwine, and as new generations seek meaning in an ever-evolving world, how will this ancient system continue to adapt? What new forms will its expression take? And what further insights might it offer humanity about our place in the grand design? The story of the Chinese zodiac is a continuous narrative, mirroring the cyclical nature of time itself, perpetually offering guidance, identity, and a profound sense of connection in a world that ceaselessly searches for them. In an era increasingly defined by data and empirical evidence, what enduring magnetic pull does the Chinese zodiac exert on the human psyche? How does an ancient system, born of celestial observations millennia ago, not only survive but thrive in a world that often prioritizes scientific rationality? The answer lies in its profound capacity to fulfill an intrinsic human need: the search for meaning, identity, and connection in a complex, often bewildering universe. Its journey from abstract calendrical markers to a global cultural phenomenon speaks volumes about its adaptability and the universal resonance of its core themes. The 20th century, despite its tumultuous challenges and attempts to suppress traditional beliefs, ultimately prepared the Zodiac for its most spectacular act of reinvention. The reform and opening up policies in China, commencing in the late 1970s, triggered an unprecedented cultural resurgence. Practices once deemed feudal superstitions were cautiously, then openly, embraced anew. The Chinese Zodiac, deeply woven into the fabric of daily life and personal identity for generations, was at the forefront of this reawakening. It provided a powerful, comforting link to a revered past for a populace navigating rapid modernization and societal transformation. What had been a private act of cultural defiance during the Cultural Revolution now became a public celebration of heritage. Calendars featuring the 12 animal signs once again proudly adorned homes and businesses. Lunar New Year, with its deep zodiacal associations, returned as a vibrant, nationwide festival, amplified by media and commercial enterprise. This resurgence within China was simultaneously mirrored and amplified by its growing international presence. Chinese diaspora communities, steadfast guardians of the Zodiac for centuries in global Chinatowns and cultural enclaves, found their traditions suddenly capturing the imagination of a wider, non-Chinese audience. As global communication improved and interest in Eastern philosophies blossomed, the Chinese Zodiac presented itself as an accessible, intriguing entry point into Chinese culture. Its apparent simplicity, 12 distinct animal personalities, each linked to a birth year, made it eminently digestible for a global audience accustomed to Western horoscopes. This popularization, however, came with a crucial trade-off. To achieve such broad appeal, the intricate layers of traditional Chinese astrology were often stripped away. The profound interplay of the 5 elements wood, fire, earth, metal, water, and the complementary forces of yin and yang, which create the nuanced 60-year sexagenary cycle, were largely omitted in favor of the more easily grasped 12-animal cycle. While this simplification sacrificed some of the system's authentic depth, it undeniably paved the way for its transformation into a universally recognized cultural shorthand. From breakfast cereal boxes to luxury brand collaborations, from animated films to popular song lyrics, the Zodiac animals became instantly recognizable icons worldwide. It offered a playful yet relatable framework for self-identity, social comparison, and even light-hearted interpretation of life's events, without demanding adherence to its deeper astrological tenets. This global adoption fueled an immense commercialization, making the Zodiac a significant economic force. Each Lunar New Year witnesses a deluge of Zodiac-themed products: commemorative coins and banknotes, limited edition automobiles, luxury watches, fashion collections, and an array of confectionery and gifts. This economic phenomenon is particularly pronounced during Dragon years, traditionally considered the most auspicious. The Year of the Dragon often correlates with a discernible surge in birth rates within Chinese communities globally, as parents aspire for their children to inherit the revered qualities of this powerful mythical creature. Conversely, years associated with animals like the goat or pig have sometimes seen a dip in birth rates, reflecting the enduring, tangible impact of zodiacal beliefs on significant life decisions and demographic trends. The ox, symbolizing diligence and strength, similarly inspires hard work and perseverance, reflecting a cultural valuing of these traits. Even the rat, often associated with cleverness and resourcefulness, encourages strategic thinking and adaptability. These cultural projections onto the animal symbols remain deeply influential. The digital age, far from posing a threat to the Chinese zodiac, has proven to be an unprecedented amplifier of its reach. The internet and social media platforms have democratized access, providing new avenues for its dissemination and reinterpretation. Online horoscopes, compatibility calculators, personality quizzes, and daily forecasts are ubiquitous, while memes and viral content playfully integrate zodiac animal traits, ensuring its relevance and engagement for younger, globally connected generations. This digital evolution ensures the zodiac remains dynamic, adapting to new media and continuing to capture imaginations. Moreover, for those interested in delving beyond the popularized 12-animal format, the internet now offers readily available resources on the 5 elements, yin-yang, and the intricate sexagenary cycle, bridging the gap between simplified popular understanding and deeper traditional knowledge. Yet, beyond the undeniable commercial appeal and digital proliferation, the enduring power of the Chinese zodiac lies in its capacity to fulfill a deeply human need for narrative and meaning. In a world that often feels chaotic and random, it provides a comforting sense of order and connection, offering a framework for understanding oneself and others. Psychologically, it taps into the power of archetypes, presenting recognizable personality traits through memorable animal symbols. This serves as a powerful lens for self-reflection and a starting point for dialogue, allowing individuals to relate their experiences to a broader, cyclical pattern. It's not just about prediction. It's about providing a story for one's life, a sense of belonging to a cosmic rhythm that transcends individual existence. This narrative power is particularly potent in navigating life's uncertainties, offering a sense of guidance and an intuitive path for self-improvement that appeals across cultures and educational backgrounds. The tension between maintaining the authenticity of its profound historical and astrological depth and its undeniable transformation into a globally recognized, often simplified, cultural icon remains a vital part of its ongoing story. While mass popularization has introduced the zodiac to billions, it has also, at times, overshadowed its intricate philosophical foundations. Yet the fundamental strength of the system, its elegant structure, its relatable symbolism, and its capacity to connect individuals to the vast cycles of time, continues to ensure its relevance. The journey of the Chinese zodiac, from celestial observation to global phenomenon, underscores a truth more profound than any individual prediction: humanity's unceasing quest for meaning. Its story is not yet complete. It continues to unfold, adapting to new eras while holding fast to its ancient roots, perpetually reflecting our changing world and our unchanging desire to understand ourselves and our place within the grand. The cosmic tapestry. What then is the ultimate legacy of the Chinese zodiac, an ancient system that has traversed millennia, survived empires, weathered revolutions, and captivated the modern world? Is it merely a quaint superstition, a charming relic of a bygone era, or does it hold a deeper, more profound truth about humanity itself? The comprehensive journey we have undertaken, from the oracle bones of the Shang dynasty to the digital screens of the 21st century, reveals an extraordinary testament to human ingenuity, cultural resilience, and an unyielding quest for meaning. We began with the meticulous sky watchers of ancient China, driven by the practical demands of agriculture and the spiritual imperative to understand celestial patterns. From their sophisticated calendrical system, built upon the abstract scaffolding of the 10 heavenly stems and 12 earthly branches, emerged the fundamental sexagenary cycle, the Jayasi, a 60-year cosmic clock. It was during the Han Dynasty that a stroke of cultural genius transformed these abstract temporal markers into the beloved animal symbols we recognize today. The rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. This was not a whimsical association, but a deeply considered integration, imbuing each branch with relatable characteristics, drawing from the rich tapestry of Chinese folklore and daily life. The animals became mnemonic keys, transforming complex astronomy into accessible wisdom, offering a shared language for understanding personality, time, and destiny. This elegant system proved remarkably robust, weaving itself inextricably into the fabric of Chinese society. Through the golden age of the Tang, it became ubiquitous in art, literature, and social discourse, formalizing the personality traits and compatibility readings that continue to fascinate. It navigated the philosophical depths of Neo-Confucianism during the Song, which sought ethical meaning within its framework, and traversed the vast multicultural landscape of the Yuan, finding resonance even among Mongol conquerors. The Ming and Qing dynasties saw its further entrenchment, becoming a cornerstone of national identity and a vital tool for personal guidance, from auspicious wedding dates to career aspirations. Even the arrival of Western science, with its seemingly superior astronomical precision, failed to dislodge the Zodiac's hold. It functioned on a different plane, not as a scientific hypothesis, but as a cultural truth, a deeply embedded worldview. The 20th century presented its most severe trials. Amidst revolution and war, the Chinese Zodiac faced concerted efforts by the Republican government and later, the communist regime, to dismantle what they deemed feudal superstition. During the ferocity of the Cultural Revolution, it was driven underground, existing as a whisper among families, a quiet act of cultural defiance. Yet it persisted. This resilience underscores a critical insight. The Zodiac was not merely a belief system. It was a fundamental mode of expression, a framework for identity that proved indispensable. It provided a sense of continuity and predictability in an era of unprecedented chaos, a private anchor to heritage when public celebration was forbidden. Its reemergence in the late 20th century, following China's reform and opening up, was not just a revival, but a spectacular rebirth. From clandestine practice, it swiftly returned to public prominence, embraced by a populace eager to reconnect with its roots. Simultaneously, propelled by the enduring fidelity of Chinese diaspora communities and the burgeoning global interest in Eastern cultures, the Zodiac began its triumphant ascent onto the world stage. It became a global phenomenon, its 12 animal signs recognizable in virtually every corner of the planet. This global popularization, while undeniably expanding its reach, often came at the cost of its intricate depth. The nuanced interplay of the 5 elements, wood, fire, earth, metal, water, and the yin-yang polarities which craft the 60 unique combinations of the sexagenary cycle, were frequently simplified, even omitted, in favor of a more digestible 12-year animal cycle. Yet even in this streamlined form, its power was undeniable. It transformed into a universal cultural shorthand for personality, compatibility, and fortune, a playful, yet potent, lens through which people globally could engage with a piece of ancient wisdom. The commercialization of the Zodiac in the modern era further highlights its profound influence. From high fashion to everyday products, from commemorative coins to the surge in birth rates during auspicious dragon years, the Zodiac is not merely a cultural curiosity, but a tangible force shaping consumer behavior and even demographic trends. The digital age, far from rendering it obsolete, has served as an unprecedented amplifier. Online horoscopes, apps, and social media content have infused the ancient system with new life, making it dynamic, accessible, and endlessly engaging for new generations. Ultimately, the enduring magnetic pull of the Chinese zodiac lies in its profound capacity to fulfill an intrinsic human need: the search for narrative and meaning. In a world characterized by complexity and uncertainty, the zodiac provides a comforting sense of order and connection. It offers a framework for self-understanding, a shared language for navigating relationships, and a gentle reminder that our individual lives are part of a grander, cyclical tapestry of time. It speaks to our deepest desire for predictability, for belonging, and for a story that makes sense of our journey. The Chinese zodiac is more than an astrological system. It is a living testament to humanity's enduring quest to chart the heavens, to decode the mysteries of time, and to find a reflection of the cosmic order within ourselves. From its origins in the distant past, whispered among stargazers and diviners, to its vibrant presence in our interconnected global society, its story is a continuous echo of our collective yearning for wisdom. It reminds us that while the tools of observation may change, from oracle bones to supercomputers, the fundamental human desire to understand our place in the universe remains eternal. The dance of the 12 animals, forever cycling through time, continues to offer a powerful, comforting narrative, inviting us all to look up at the stars and inward at ourselves, to find meaning in the rhythm of the cosmos and the unfolding story of our lives. Its journey is an epic of cultural survival and universal resonance, a timeless legacy inscribed not just in ancient calendars, but in the heart of humanity itself.